Hello, everyone. Welcome to Bias Real Estate Podcast. And I'm here with,
Angelo.
and I'm Alex. And Angelo, I'm excited.
Oh yeah, I am too, man. And I think for today's podcast, we have a very interesting subject that has been floating around, and that's uh, when would you try to build a trust for your family?
It's either probate or trust.
Yes, either probate or trust. And a lot of people don't know about when they're buying a home, they don't have this in mind that you know when when you pass away, your children are going to be left with the home uh one way or another, right? The easiest way, just building a trust. The hard way, going through the probate process.
Yeah. So after this, I want people to decide, what do you want? You want to go through probate, or do you want to create a trust for your family?
Exactly.
So probate is interesting.
Probates are interesting. Probates, I mean, a lot of the time, right? Probates can take quite a long time to settle because you have to go through court. You have like 7 to 9 months to kind of see what's going on with court rulings, family disputes, because children are like, fighting over who gets the house, what percentage.
And the probate is big, especially when you have assets like homes, right?
Oh yeah. Hmm.
And you have family. So most people go through probate. To be honest with you, a lot of I specialize with probates, right? I help a lot of families through in probate. The family passed away, and now they have assets, and they need a realtor to sell it. Probates could take up to, in New York City, I've seen it from 6 months to a year or even more.
Yeah.
And the longer it takes, guys, the more closely it is to you.
Exactly.
It costs a lot. Attorney fees, some attorneys charge per hour.
Mhm.
So all these homeowners that we help buy and sell, especially buy and sell, really consider in doing a trust. And we're gonna let you guys know why.
Yeah, like a trust, you're gonna spend a lot of money in the probate process, right? Compared to a trust. A trust, the most common trust that is recommended is a revocable living trust, and it usually costs in New York around 2,500 to 6,000, right? And that opposed to doing the probate process can cost an absurd amount. I know you've seen like some
So
crazy
let's
amounts.
start off with the probate, right?
Yeah.
What's so bad about probate?
What's so bad about probate is that it gets messy. You have to find the heirs. You have to hire an attorney who specializes in probate. You have to go through court rulings, and you have to clean the title if there's anything wrong with title. And it's just such a headache, right? As opposed to just, not having to do that with just a trust.
So probate, right?
Hmm.
I think more important about probate is the cost of it, right?
Yeah.
The time, right? And I think it's one thing more important than anything. How will you feel that the court will decide what to do with your family assets, right? They make the decision because your family member did not do a trust. So I think the biggest thing is, yeah, it's gonna cost a lot. I have seen an average of $40 to even $80,000 in legal fees
Oh yeah.
when it comes to probate, because you don't know how long it's going to take, right? Especially in New York City, right? It just keeps going. I have worked with clients, I know that took up to a year. I have worked with clients that take up to 6 months, but the time frame is like 6 months to a year or a little bit more, depending how quick and how fast and how experienced your attorney is, right? Because I've seen attorneys that could take over a year doing a probate process for your, and all it's doing is accumulating on fees, right? And I literally seen clients of mine pay $50,000 to $80,000 in probate fees. It's very expensive, right? Instead of just doing a trust, it definitely hurts to see the judge come and make a decision for your property, right? Because your family member did not do a trust,
Right.
right? How will you feel about that?
Yeah, it would feel devastating, right? My parents built this, and now,
Exactly.
you know, the court has the final say on what goes on with the trust. You don't want to be in that situation because the most important thing that people don't realize is that you're not going to have peace of mind during probate.
You're
It's
not.
just going to be a constant headache.
And talking about that, I want to share a story about not peace of mind. I had a client about a year ago, single family in the Bronx. She was appointed by the court. I was hired to represent the client to sell the property. All right. It was going through probate. It was going through probate. So it was in the process of it to get appointed. right? To become the executor of the estate, right? So the first thing I do, of course, I list the property, get all the document signs. I put the for sale sign up, right? About a day or 2 days after, I get a call from one of the family members. So to get a short story, it's actually the father leaves it to his stepdaughter, and the stepdaughter, he raised the stepdaughter. The stepdaughter never knew he had four other kids. The stepfather has been her stepfather for over 30 years, and she never knew that he had four other kids. When he passes away, right, now the other four kids pop up. And of course, the father did a will where he left everything to his stepdaughter. Why he left everything to his stepdaughter? Because she was the only one that cared, showed him love, and till his last breath, she was next to him, feeding him, taking care of him. So what he did was he left the property to his stepdaughter. He did a will, right? He didn't do the trust, but he did a will where he left the property to his stepdaughter completely. I come and I put my for sale sign, Angel, on the property. The guy calls me up. One of the sons of him calls me up, cursing at me, telling me that they were pissed that why am I selling his father's property without his permission? And I was very confused. I was like, I'm sorry, I have a letter, administrator, where she's been appointed to sell this property. So I think the best person you speak to is her, not me. I actually just listed the property, but I'll definitely let her know your message. The son got so pissed, he went to the property, ripped up my for sale sign.
Oh my.
I was pissed because I got nothing to do with this, right? But it's part of my business, right? It makes me laugh sometimes. So he comes, rips up my for sale sign. He takes my for sale sign. He calls me, starts threatening that he's gonna sue me and all this, right? I get in contact with the probate attorney, with also the client. The probate attorney told me not to put mine to them, that they're actually gonna start some litigation with them. So now the four kids are pissed because the stepdaughter has the property. But throughout all these 30 years, she said she never knew about them. They never even came to the house. She never knew anything about that they were his kids. Legally, they were his kids. On their birth certificate, the father's name was there. He came from another marriage, but never mentioned anything to his new family. And everything came up once he passed away,
Wow.
which is sad, right? So, of course, this one ended pretty bad because then starting litigation. So what happens is that I actually had a buyer. We put the property in contract, by the way. I got the property in contract, but once you start litigation on the property, Angel, it kind of stops. Title companies will not get title insurance, right? But when you have an attorney that has experience, what he did was that he had a letter of proof from the courthouse stating that the litigation is gonna happen, but the probate attorney, has to withheld the money in escrow. So what ended up happening is that it allowed me to sell the property, but it also didn't lose. They didn't lose a buyer, which was good. They didn't lose the buyer, and they put the money on escrow. They were litigating for it. My client, that was a stepdaughter, after almost 2 years litigating, she ended up winning the litigation. Yes, it cost me a lot of fees and attorney fees, but she ended up getting the property, and the four kids didn't get the property at all, which was his legal kids.
Yeah.
He did a will. He left it to his stepdaughter, and it showed that, that was his blood kids, but he felt more love for his stepdaughter because she was there with him to the end. And she stayed with the property.
Right.
But due to that, he didn't do a trust. It cost her a lot of money because she also got sued. So it cost her even more money because he didn't do a trust the correct way.
Right.
So what happened is that, he paid a lot of money in legal fees. Also, they almost lost the property. And so the reason this probate attorney was able to get it approved from the courthouse, guys, some of these properties, when it's going through probate, it's also probably going through foreclosure as well, especially if they have a mortgage. This property had a mortgage, Angela. So she was going through foreclosure as well.
Oof.
So that was a big mess. So it's either you let it go through foreclosure or you end up winning the property through getting the approval from the court to sell the property. So she was able to sell. She was able to get her money, and thank God she didn't lose the property.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. I mean, the fact that she was able to win that after 2 years, which was clearly going to be, she was going to win that because, he left
The-
the will. She's the one that was taking care of it. I see no reason why the court would say otherwise.
But I'm gonna tell you something. In New York City, you
Mhm.
could sue and counter sue anything. It doesn't.
Yeah.
You might not have the facts up front, but you could just counter sue. So the counter sue was that the father didn't know what he was doing. That he just signed it out
Mm.
of pressure from her. That was it, and they were suing them for the property.
Wow.
Yeah, they were
That's
suing for
so
what the property
crazy.
was worth, which is more than $500,000.
That's the problem, right? Like, people once you have something as big as a house up for like debate, everyone will go crazy trying to
You know
see
that's very sad. To be honest, seeing family members,
they'll
their
be tearing
brothers,
apart.
sisters
Yeah.
getting tear apart over money. I always say family over money, especially when it comes to like your kids. Is you cannot allow them to be fighting over money. I think that's the most disgusting thing ever. It shows how much money would damage people. And I've seen it, especially in probate. You see these families killing each other for these properties.
Oh yeah.
So as a parent, I have a son and daughter, right? I always make it clear to them it's 50-50. I don't care who's richer, who's less. It's 50-50. But in reality, it comes down to me and Heidi of doing our trust, right? Which we're in the process of doing a trust.
Yeah.
The reality is that you have to do a trust, especially when you have kids, right? Especially when you have multiple properties, you have corps, multiple accounts, multiple businesses, multiple properties. Definitely do a trust, guys. You will win so much headache for your family because you're gonna be dead. I mean, what are you gonna care about it? But
All right.
you don't want the government to decide or the judge to decide what to do with your property that you left for your kids that you worked so hard for. And not only that, you're gonna give so much money to these legal fees. So are your kids already gonna enjoy your asset?
Right. You're gonna put conditions on it, like they can't sell it for a certain amount of years or things like that.
Yeah, I am. I'm that guy. Yes, I am gonna put conditions, but um, I'm not a vehicle. Why would I care? But
Just
I am
so
gonna
they
put
don't.
conditions to protect both of them
Yeah.
in sense of no one takes advantage of each other.
Right.
Right? I don't want Levi to take advantage of Lexi. I want everything to be equally, right? Things done with good faith and good heart. That's what I really care about. But I think it's very important what you just point out. It's very important to put conditions.
Yeah, because sometimes they don't know how to handle that. Like they'll be like, "Oh my God, we can cash out. Yeah, let's sell everything."
Yeah, but it's true what you just said. It's best to put conditions on it because you don't want any of them to take advantage of each other,
Right.
right? And you want things to just be even and nicely for everyone with good faith. So I'm with you with that, Angelo.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the attorneys will let you know that it's best to put sometimes conditions because they might be young. God forbid something happens to you and Heidi and
Yeah.
they're still like teenagers and stuff and they don't know what to do with that. Maybe they just want to cash out. Maybe you don't want them to do that just yet. Maybe you want them to wait a bit until they're more mature and know what they need to do with.
That's very important that you just share that because I did see one time, for instance, I saw one of my clients, he had the trust and then he actually had conditions
Yeah.
and they had to follow every single condition to be able to sell the property. And they were able to do it. They were able to sell, but it was better because I think whoever built this wealth should definitely put the conditions,
Yeah.
right? Because it's a lot.
Because sometimes you don't. You're just too young to understand. Like maybe your parents passed away. You're too young to understand how to properly manage those assets, and you're just thinking money. Like I could just like sell it and don't have to worry about it, right? But sometimes that's not probably the best approach. You want to be guided, towards how you should responsibly handle those assets.
Also, on the probate, have this in mind, which is huge. Everything is public. What it means public,
yeah.
that once you're filing all these documents, everyone can see it. Your family members can see it. Your neighbors can see it. All this is public. It's all on New York City.
And it gets
courts.
messy.
And it gets messy. You know why? Because now everyone knows what's going on in your stuff, right? But when it's a trust, it's private, guys. No one knows but yourself and your attorney. And your anyone that's inside the trust would know. Anyone outside the trust will not know. It's private.
Correct.
So you maintain something so private, which I like to have my portfolio to be private. I wouldn't want anyone to know about what I got going on in my trust, right? So it's private, guys. So it's so beneficial because with the probate, I know you know exactly what's going on. What if they're litigating? What's going on between family members? It shows you. It's everything. It's in New York City courts. It's public. Most of this information, guys, is public.
Hmm.
Most people don't know. Like, for instance, like I will help a lot of clients. Like, how do you know? I mean, it's public. I see everything online.
Right.
Yeah. Also, New York City will put your stuff public. Not only New York City, courthouses, excuse me, will put these things public. So once you start your probate process, you're gonna have thousands of realtors, thousands of investors reaching out to you because it's public information.
Exactly. You don't want us calling you every second.
Yeah, it's public information.
Right.
So if you want something private, definitely do a trust.
Mhm.
The trust is definitely the route to go, Angelo.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to save you tons of money. And the most important thing, it's going to give you and your family peace of mind when that transfer needs to happen.
Yes, and I have seen something too that's good to point out. I see that a lot of people do wills, right? Even if you do a will, have this in mind, guys. You could do a will, but you still have to go through probate. So the best thing is to do a trust, because most clients that I helped, they actually go through. They do wills, but they still have to go through probate, and it has to be approved by the courthouse,
Right.
right? So the best thing is to do a trust. So for instance, I had another client that this is a crazy story. So like I said, I've done a lot of probates, but I have really crazy stories. I had this client one time, so this is weird. I list the property. It's a legal two-family in the Bronx, right? So I had to go serve eviction documents because the person that's selling the property wants to evict the first floor. I go and give the documents out to him about the eviction, right? The attorney prepares it, we send them out, and I deliver it to him. It turns out to be that it was her husband that I was evicting. The woman that died, so I was evicting the husband, which was weird. I bring him the document. He said, I'm the husband, and my wife just died. I lived in the first floor, and she lived in the second floor. And I'm like, what? I already knew it was a weird, funny relationship because why is your husband living in the basement and you're living upstairs? But okay. So the person so what she did was that when she bought the property, right? She bought the property prior and before getting married to him. So she ended up doing a will before she passed away to pass it on to one of her members in church, was a man, which was kind of weird, right? She passed it on to a member of her church, which is a man, and she gave him full ownership of her house and her bank account. She even gave him. She had 3 cars. She gave him all the 3 cars. So when I go and serve the husband, he's getting crazy with me. I'm just the realtor, guys. Have in mind, we're just the messengers. That's all we are. I know we get harassed, we get bullied, we get blamed for it, but in reality, Angel, we have nothing to do with it. We're just the messenger, and that's a lot of people don't understand.
Yeah.
We're just the messengers. So I was like, I'm sorry, I'm supposed to just give you these documents, but I'll definitely deliver the message to the attorney, deliver the message to the homeowner.
Right.
That's all I could do. So I go ahead and do it, Angela, and the new homeowner, which he's been appointed by the court, he comes to the property, and it gets a little messy in there, right? But at the end of the day, we evicted him. We evicted her husband.
Yeah.
I was able to sell the property, and he ended up walking away with the money that she left him. She did a will. He hired a great attorney and got it done. We sold the property, but it was just weird that I had to serve the husband, and she did a will, leaving everything to a member that she went to church with, which when I was asking him questions, they were just friends.
They were just friends.
They must have been great friends.
Yeah, the best of
Yes.
friends. My
Yeah.
goodness, I want friends like that.
I don't know what they were talking too much in church about, but he ends up staying with the property. We end up selling it. We evict him, and then guess what happened to that property? So he wasn't paying for electrical gas. There's another story. He in that same property, he wasn't paying. So the gas shut off completely, and it was cold.
Oh no!
Guess what happened?
The
Once
pipes?
I got the gas turned on. They actually locked the meter from outside, and I was able to get Connecticut to come out to turn on the gas. They came to check out the gas for me. They were able to turn it on a Christmas day. By the way, Connecticut didn't open it for us.
Wow.
Right, because it's cold property, right? I come and turn on the heater. Oh my God. All the pipes of the heaters were frozen. And guess what happened? They bursted. It was water, a whole floor full of water coming down. I had to shut it off, turn it off, and we had to hire a plumber to come and to replace all those frozen pipes. Guys, don't ever turn off your heater in the cold. It will cost you more. But in this case, he was just being, hurtful. He was upset. He didn't tell us anything that was going on with the property. So there was no heat in the property at all. And the day that I turned it on I think it was about 15 degrees. Everything was frozen. So all the pipes were frozen.
Oh my goodness. How much did that cost them?
Thank God we got some great contact, about $4,000 or $5,000. But we had to fix walls, we had to fix the floors. Yeah. The floors were wood, so what happens when water lands on wood? It lifts up.
Yeah.
So obviously it was pretty bad. So to all those homeowners out there, definitely speak to an attorney. We're not attorneys. We cannot advise you any legal advice. But what we can tell you is that go out there and get a trust. Do a trust. If you own a property, do a trust. You want to make sure that, God forbid, something happens to you, you want to make sure that your kids are set in that trust. And you want to protect your assets from the city, from the government. You want to protect it. So make sure you speak to a probate attorney, someone that specializes in probates and trust and probates, of course, so you can understand the meaning of a trust. And they have different trusts. There's not just one. It's a few different trusts that you can speak to an attorney, but an attorney will advise you which one to pick, which one you think is best for you and your family. But definitely do not go through probate. It's going to cost you a lot of money. So definitely start looking into trust. To all those homeowners that we work with, all those buyers we work with, we always let them know about the trust. Definitely consider speaking to an attorney, not to an agent, to an attorney about creating a trust for your family.
That's right. So if you're buying a house, right? So you're growing your family because you have kids and stuff like that. Think about them, right? Think about like the future. You don't want them to stress out in the future when you guys are gone, right? And they have to figure out what the house situation is like and the other assets that you have. Just make it all simple. Get the trust, right? Pay the upfront costs. It might seem a little bit high now, right? Because you're not using it right now. But trust me, it's going to save you so much headache. Your kids, it's going to save your kids so much headache and a lot of money because the longer it takes in the probate process, the more you have to pay because
and legal fees.
Yeah, these attorneys they get paid by the hour. So
some attorneys get paid $500 an hour.
Yeah, it's crazy.
500 to 700 an hour.
Yeah, so just do yourself a favor, do yourself and your kids a favor. If you do get a house because of them, moving up and stuff like that, get a trust.
Get a trust. Do not go through probate. Try your best. A lot of families go through probate, Andrew. A lot of families. I mean, I deal with it all the time. A lot of families go through probate. It's a lot of work, a lot of hassle, and it's not. You want your kids to enjoy where you left them, right?
Exactly.
Especially they're already going through a lot, emotionally, mentally. You don't want to also put them another work because I've seen a lot of kids, kids suffer over this and then suffer more when they got to go through this whole probate process and don't know what to do.
Exactly. And sometimes the kids might be on good terms with one another. Like they're neutral.
You do come across a few like that.
Yeah. No, I'm saying like they're neutral and stuff towards each other. But then once the probate process comes, it's like that relationship completely breaks apart.
I have seen a lot of families shatter.
Yeah.
As a probate process. Sometimes one member wants more than the other.
Oh yeah, it always happens.
Happens all the time. I had one time one person called me like, "Hey, he just stole the Harley from us," and then they prohibited him from going to the property. So stories goes on, right?
Yeah.
But you don't want to put your kids through that. You don't want to put your family through that. Our goal as parents is to maintain peace in the family always.
Exactly.
Especially for dads, we need to always maintain peace. And how we maintain peace when you have assets, a trust.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Go do a trust. All right, guys.
Thank you, guys.
If you have any questions, any real estate questions, please, we're here. It's all free. Any questions, please like, subscribe, and see you next time, guys. We have actually a special guest next week, Angelo, which I'm gonna let you guys see who it is, but we have a special guest for next week, guys. All right. Enjoy your week. Take care, guys. Bye.
Bye, guys.